Hey guys, it's Tanya here. Today I get to participate in the very first Crafty Friends Blog Hop. This is a new hop with a few crafters I have known for quite some time. All of them are super talented and I'm excited to see what everyone makes. So on the 20th of each month we will have a blog hop and each hop will feature a different stamp company. How awesome is that? There will be lots of videos in this hop too. This month, we are featuring Concord and 9th. I love their designs. They're always so fun, refreshing, and innovative. Their turnabouts are just one example. While I love a good turn, I'm going in another direction today. I was feeling very tropical, and I had just gotten a couple of their new release bundles, and this is the Toucan Paradise bundle. And I also got the Aloha filled in patterns pack as a freebie. And I thought I should get going using that paper right away. It came with a stencil originally to fill in those flowers, but I don't have the stencil. So to create this toucan, if you're going to do the die cutting, or if you're going to die cut the toucan, it's best to die cut the paper first and then do the stamping. That way your beak will line up correctly because you can tweak that a little bit. I'm going to use all Distress inks and VersaFine Onyx Black. I like the depth of the black for VersaFine Onyx Black. It always stamps very crisp and clear. So I'm going to ink that up and start the body of our toucan here. And that stamps down quite nicely. I like to give it a good hold there for a few seconds, let that ink really take a grip. And I'm using Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock for the card, or for the toucan here. I'm going to use some Distress Oxide inks, and this particular ink pad is supposed to be carved pumpkin. However, my beloved grandson, my 5-year-old grandson, had been over the week that I got all of my refills for the Distress Oxides. And he was playing with them, and I didn't, I kind of thought about the fact that he could reach them, and he would be sleeping just a few feet from where my craft room is. And lo and behold, he decided to re-ink my carved pumpkin ink pad with spiced marmalade. While they're both oranges and they're very close, it did change the color of the ink pad a little bit. But I'm telling you, it could have been worse. Whoops. And I lucked out there. I tipped that mowed lawn right over and almost landed right on my little toucan. See, blessings do happen sometimes. Remind me to someday show you the beautiful blends that I ended up with the carved pumpkin / spiced marmalade ink pad. So here I'm using Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn on a scratch piece of paper that has a bunch of black soot and I think that's Salty Ocean, maybe Blueprint Sketch. And partway through I realized that I was getting some of that color onto my green paper here. So I flipped it over looking for a clean spot. This paper is going to be used to create all those leaves, and this is some pearlized water that's just perfect pearls mixed with some water, and I keep that on my desk all the time. And I heat set that with my heat gun. Here we're using the Tropical Vibes dies. We are going to use some of the stamps from this also, from this bundle. It's a turnabout with pineapples and monstera leaves and blooms. It's beautiful. I just didn't use that part. It also has some great sentiments. So I'm taking the die cuts. The branch is from the Toucan Paradise set. And I'm using Aleene's craft glue. I'm on the hunt for something that doesn't contain latex or formalin. Both of those set off my asthma horribly. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there with my issue. There are so many amazing glues out there. I just can't use most of them. So in the search, we're now on to Aleene's craft glue and Mod Podge. Believe it or not, the matte Mod Podge is what I've been using lately, and it seems to be helping. So we're going to put a little coaster. I took a coaster blank and die cut the toucan. If you've been watching me for very long, you know that I use coasters all the time for my dimension. And I'm adding these leaves behind our toucan to build that focal point. I grabbed my silicone mat. You could use your Ranger Craft mat. You could use whatever you've got. I just didn't want to get the glue all over my workspace. And I didn't want it to stick to whatever I was setting this on while I was getting all of those leaves adhered. I tried to have some behind, in the middle, and in front. And I thought, oh, yep, I need some more leaves. We need more leaves. We need more leaves. So I took a few more, and that glue was still wet on the silicone mat. And I added 3 more on the other side, just kind of rotating where they're at. And then it became, well, it's a little busy. And we need a sentiment. So we're going to use one of the same inks that I used on the beak. This is Wild Honey. I'd used that carved pumpkin / spiced marmalade for part of the beak. And we're going to use the Wild Honey for the sentiments. These are from the Turnabout in the Tropical Vibes Turnabout. And I'm just going to fussy cut those out. It's not very fussy. It's a lot of fairly straight lines. And since the blocking is not perfectly precise, it makes it very forgiving to cut those out. And we're going to use strips of coaster blanks again, just to pop some of those up. I really like the alignment I first came up with. Unfortunately, I forgot how I was going to do that and changed it a little bit. Both ways look good. And now you can see the circle of vellum I put behind the toucan focal point. I needed a little something to separate the focal image or focal grouping from that very busy pattern background. And adding vellum is a go-to technique for me. I just take a basic shape, a fun shape, and I'll either add a little texture to it or just leave it as is and create that layer of separation between the focal image and a background. Sometimes it's a busy background, sometimes it's not. We just need a little pop. Vellum really pulls it off for me. So I'm going to take a 110 pound Nina Solar White card base, and this is A2 size, so it starts out as a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock that's scored at 4.5 to create the card base. And I did pop up the main panel on the front of my card with another piece of chipboard or chip coaster board. There we go. And using my ATG gun to adhere that to the card base. Now I'm going to flip it over and trim off the leaves so that they aren't peeking past the card base. I also added some clear Wink of Stella to the flowers because they weren't really shining out enough. I also used some black Wink of Stella and then some Sakura black Jelly Roll pen. And the leaves are the Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron Distress inks again. So there you go. There's the completed card. Thank you for stopping by today and spending some of your crafty time with me. I hope you learned something new, were inspired to create something of your own, or at least got a laugh from my odd self. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or share with your friends. If you want to see more of my creative adventures, subscribe to my channel and be sure to hit the bell icon so you know when I upload new videos. If you are interested in any of the supplies I used, check out the list of links in the description box below this video. Again, thank you for watching.